Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Hi guys, welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the most perplexing mysteries in General Hospital history. Has Cyrus Renaud truly met his demise, or is he merely biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to re-emerge and wreak havoc on Port Charles? The sudden and dramatic nature of his supposed death has left many fans with lingering doubts. After all, in the unpredictable world of soap operas, what seems like the end is often just the beginning of another shocking twist. Despite the authorities and much of Port Charles believing they are finally rid of him, there is mounting speculation that the feared villain may not be as dead as they assume. A death without a body, the biggest red flag of all? One of the most compelling arguments against Cyrus Renaud's death is the complete lack of physical evidence. It's a well-known rule in the General Hospital universe that if there's no body, then there's no guarantee that someone is actually dead. Fans have been quick to point this out, taking to social media to voice their suspicions. One fan posted on Reddit, "Has anyone noticed that they're all acting like this is a done deal, yet we haven't actually seen a body? No crime scene photos, no forensic reports, nothing." That alone should make people skeptical. And they have a point. In previous storylines, characters who were presumed dead only to reappear later have almost always died under similarly ambiguous circumstances. Nicholas Cassadine, Sonny Corinthos, and Jason Morgan himself are all prime examples of how a supposed death can be nothing more than a carefully orchestrated disappearance. If Cyrus truly perished, why haven't there been any substantial reports about his body being recovered? Why aren't the authorities more concerned about ensuring that he's actually gone? Instead, they seem to be more focused on shifting blame, particularly onto Jason Morgan, which in itself is suspicious. Jason Morgan, a convenient scapegoat? Speaking of Jason, his wrongful accusation raises even more questions. General Hospital fans know that Jason Morgan has a long history of being framed for crimes he didn't commit. His reputation as Sonny Corinthos' enforcer makes him an easy target whenever something goes wrong in Port Charles. But in this case, the circumstances feel a little too convenient. If Cyrus really is dead, why is there such an aggressive push to blame Jason? Is it possible that someone, perhaps even Cyrus himself, is manipulating events from behind the scenes? Some fans believe that his enemies in the justice system, or even rival criminal organizations, are eager to see Jason take the fall. But others suspect something far more sinister, that Cyrus is alive and deliberately framing Jason to distract from his own disappearance. What makes this even more troubling is how easily people seem to be accepting the idea that Jason is guilty. Given how many times he has been wrongly accused before, you would think that his closest allies would hesitate before jumping to conclusions. But instead, there's an eerie sense of finality surrounding Cyrus' supposed death. It's almost as if everyone wants to believe he's gone, even though they know better. Cyrus' history suggests he would never go down this easily. One thing that has always set Cyrus apart from other villains is his ability to stay one step ahead of everyone. He's a master manipulator, a man who has repeatedly outwitted the law, his enemies, and even his own allies. It seems incredibly out of character for someone as calculating as Cyrus to go out so suddenly, especially after surviving so many previous close calls. Looking back at his history, we see a pattern emerge. Cyrus has always been known for playing the long game. He doesn't strike impulsively, he strategizes, he infiltrates, and he waits for the right moment to make his move. Given his past, does it really make sense that he would allow himself to be taken down so quickly? Many fans argue that if Cyrus had truly been backed into a corner, he would have had contingency plans in place. He has powerful connections, money, and resources, more than enough to stage his own death if necessary. Could it be that he orchestrated the entire thing to throw people off his trail? And if that's the case, the real question isn't whether Cyrus is still alive, it's what he's planning next. Port Charles may not be safe just yet. If Cyrus is indeed alive, what could his next move be? One terrifying possibility is that he is using this time to regroup and strengthen his power. If everyone believes he's dead, they won't be looking for him, giving him the perfect opportunity to rebuild his network without interference. It would also allow him to take his revenge more strategically. Who would be his targets? The most obvious choice would be Jocelyn Jacques, the person who shot him in self-defense. Cyrus is not the type to forgive and forget. If he's still out there, Jocelyn could be in serious danger. Another likely target is Jason Morgan, the man currently being blamed for his murder. If Cyrus wanted to ensure that Jason stays out of his way, he could easily manipulate events to keep him locked up for good. Alternatively, he might go after Sonny Corinthos, knowing that a weakened Sonny could leave Jason vulnerable as well. But perhaps the most terrifying possibility is that Cyrus could return to Port Charles with a more elaborate plan than ever before. If his past actions are any indication, he won't be content with simple revenge. He will want to control Port Charles. The thought of a more dangerous, more calculated Cyrus Renaud lurking in the shadows should send chills down the spines of every major player in town. Fan theories: is the soap opera gearing up for a major plot twist? The speculation surrounding Cyrus' fate has sparked countless fan theories, each more intriguing than the last. Some believe that he was secretly taken into custody by the WSB, kept alive for reasons unknown. Others suspect that he has gone into hiding, biding his time until he can strike when people least expect it. One particularly wild theory suggests that Cyrus may have had a secret ally in Port Charles, someone who helped fake his death. If that's the case, then who is helping him? A corrupt police officer? A former enemy-turned accomplice? Or perhaps an entirely new character we have yet to meet? No matter which theory proves true, one thing is clear: this storyline is far from over. What happens next? With so many unanswered questions, fans are left wondering what General Hospital has planned next. Will the show drop subtle clues hinting at Cyrus' survival? Will we see cryptic messages, mysterious disappearances, or unexpected twists that suggest he's still out there? Or will his enemies let their guard down, allowing him to return at the worst possible moment? Whatever happens, one thing is certain: if Cyrus Renaud is still alive, then Port Charles is in for a storm unlike anything it has ever seen. Next, we're diving into one of the most debated mysteries in General Hospital: the aftermath of Cyrus Renaud's shocking death and the growing suspicions surrounding Jason Morgan's wrongful accusation. Could someone be framing Jason, and if so, is his own twin brother, Drew Kane, involved? Or has the show overlooked a key detail that could turn this entire case on its head? Buckle up, because we're about to unravel the biggest theories fans have been buzzing about. Are the authorities overlooking an obvious clue? One of the biggest mysteries surrounding the case is how the police seem to be so certain about Jason's guilt when his DNA was supposedly found at the crime scene. However, fans of General Hospital know that Jason has an identical twin brother, Drew Kane, whose DNA would be an exact match. This has led to a wave of speculation, with some fans theorizing that Drew may have been involved in framing Jason. One fan took to Reddit to say, Jason's DNA was found at Cyrus's cabin, but isn't that also Drew's DNA since they are identical twins? If the cops ran the DNA through the system, then technically Drew should have come up as well. And since he doesn't have an alibi, how do we know it wasn't actually him? It's a solid point. Drew is a former Navy SEAL, highly trained in combat and disappearing tactics. He also had a strong motive. Cyrus was responsible for the murder of his child's mother. Could it be that Drew, who lacks Jason's criminal reputation, took justice into his own hands and set Jason up to take the fall? The Drew-Jason dilemma. Has the show forgotten its own storyline? Adding to the confusion is a major issue that some fans have pointed out. Has General Hospital forgotten that Drew and Jason were originally identical? While they no longer look alike due to recasting and a storyline involving facial reconstruction, their DNA remains the same. This should, in theory, make it difficult to tell which twin was actually at the crime scene. One fan commented, "They are ultimately identical twins, as that's what's been said on the show." However, they've also explained why they no longer look exactly alike due to their different hair colors. That means investigators could probably tell whose hair was at the scene. But let's be real, when has a soap ever relied on logic? This raises an interesting point. If the authorities really wanted to differentiate between the two, forensic analysis could easily determine whether the DNA belonged to Jason or Drew. And yet, no one seems to be questioning this possibility. Could it be that the show's writers have overlooked this detail, or is this part of a larger plot twist that has yet to unfold? Suspension of disbelief, but where does it end? At the end of the day, soap operas thrive on dramatic twists, and General Hospital is no exception. Fans have long accepted that realism sometimes takes a back seat to storytelling. However, even within the soap opera universe, some plot holes are harder to ignore than others. One fan jokingly pointed out, "Let's all be honest, there isn't a universe where a political candidate doesn't have cameras and security at his home. Spinelli just needs to do some digging, pull up the footage, and prove that Jason was nowhere near the crime scene. Then we can expose Drew as the lying liar who lies." This humorous take touches on a critical issue. Why has no one checked the security footage or cross-referenced evidence more thoroughly? Could it be that someone powerful is intentionally keeping the truth buried? Is someone deliberately pinning the crime on Jason? The biggest question remains, if Jason is innocent, then who is actually responsible for Cyrus's death? While some fans believe Drew might be involved, others think an entirely different force is at play, one with a vested interest in making sure Jason takes the fall. Could a corrupt police officer be manipulating evidence? Is a hidden ally of Cyrus orchestrating the setup to continue his reign of chaos even from beyond the grave? Or, an even wilder theory, could Cyrus himself still be alive, using the entire situation as a way to get rid of his biggest enemy without lifting a finger? The bigger picture, what happens next? No matter which theory you believe, one thing is certain, General Hospital is setting up a major reveal. The tension is building, the clues are stacking up, and sooner or later, the truth will come out. Will Jason be able to clear his name? Is Drew hiding a dark secret? And, most importantly, is Port Charles really safe now that Cyrus Renaud is supposedly out of the picture? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, this storyline is far from over. Next, we're diving into one of the most shocking character transformations in General Hospital history, Drew Quartermain's descent from hero to villain. Once a man defined by his integrity and devotion to his daughter, Scout, Drew's recent actions have left fans questioning if he's even the same person anymore. Has prison changed him beyond recognition, or is there something deeper going on? Let's break down this complicated storyline and what it means for the future of Port Charles. Is Drew playing a dangerous game with his family's future? Drew's choices have not only reshaped his own life, but have sent ripples through the lives of those closest to him. His recent insistence on uprooting Scout from the stable, blended family she had built with Sam McCall and Dante Falconeri has left many fans infuriated. Once upon a time, Drew's whole world revolved around his daughter, but now, it seems like his priorities have shifted drastically. His growing attachment to Willow Corinthos and her children, Wiley and Amelia, has raised eyebrows. While Scout is indeed related to Wiley and Amelia, family ties alone cannot replace the deep emotional bonds she had with her brother Danny Morgan and her stepbrother Rocco Falconeri. General Hospital fans know that Scout has already endured immense loss. The sudden, forced separation from her loved ones could cause irreparable emotional damage, leaving her with deep-seated fears of forming attachments in the future. Elizabeth Baldwin, who has always had a keen sense of emotional depth, tries to make Drew see reason. She warns him that tearing Scout away from the stability she so desperately needs is reckless. Willow might try her best to be a mother figure, but she will never replace Sam in Scout's heart. And beyond that, is it fair to force Wiley and Amelia into such a major change when they, too, are struggling with loss? Michael Corinthos' indefinite stay in the burn center means these children have already faced an overwhelming shift in their lives. The question remains, is Drew thinking about their well-being, or is he just playing an emotional chess game with children's lives? Drew's self-destructive path, is there any redemption left? Drew's life has taken a drastic turn ever since his release from Pentonville. Once regarded as a pillar of morality, he is now estranged from his former best friend, Curtis Ashford. The bond that once defined them has been shattered, leaving Curtis, who always had Drew's back, questioning whether he ever truly knew him. Perhaps the most shocking scandal of all is Drew's betrayal of his own family. He has stolen his nephew's wife, igniting a firestorm of tension within the Quartermain family. What happened to the man who once put honor above all else? Prison may have hardened him, but has it completely erased his sense of loyalty? Elizabeth sees a man who is no longer recognizable, the kind-hearted, selfless Drew she once loved and was even engaged to now appears cold, calculating, and disturbingly indifferent to those he once held dear. When she meets with him, she hopes to reach whatever shred of humanity is left inside him, but the question remains, is there even a man left to save? Scout's future hangs in the balance. While the drama surrounding Drew's personal relationships is enough to keep Port Charles buzzing, Elizabeth's primary concern remains Scout's well-being. More than anything, she wants to remind Drew that the choices he is making now will shape his daughter's future. If he truly loves her, as he once did with all his heart, then he must reconsider his actions before it's too late. It's easy to see why Elizabeth feels compelled to intervene. She has always been fiercely protective of the people she loves, and she can't sit back and watch Drew abandon his own child emotionally. Before he was kidnapped, Scout was the center of his universe. What happened to the man who once promised to always put her first? The most frustrating part is that Drew himself was a victim of a stolen childhood. He was separated from his family and spent years being manipulated by others. One would think that he would never allow Scout to endure that same kind of loss. But instead, he seems to be blind to the damage he's causing, and Elizabeth fears that if he continues down this path, Scout will grow up resenting him forever. The Quartermain chaos, what happens next? Drew's reckless decisions have already resulted in him being kicked out of the Quartermain mansion, and he wasn't the only one to suffer the consequences. Scout was forced to leave as well. While Tracy Quartermain is to blame for part of this mess, Elizabeth knows that Drew himself is responsible for much of the turmoil. He has alienated his family, damaged his reputation, and placed his daughter in an incredibly unstable position. But will he realize his mistakes before it's too late? Elizabeth is determined to make him see the truth, but the road ahead won't be easy. Drew has become more stubborn and unpredictable than ever, making him a difficult man to reason with. She may have once been able to reach him, but can she do it now, when he seems so far gone? The question remains, is there any hope left for Drew, or is he destined to continue down this destructive path, leaving heartbreak in his wake? Final thoughts, can Drew find his way back? Drew's transformation has left General Hospital fans with mixed emotions. Some are intrigued by his darker, more unpredictable nature, while others are devastated by the loss of the hero they once knew. But one thing is certain, if he doesn't change course soon, he may lose everyone who ever cared about him. Elizabeth is right to worry about Scout. A father's love is supposed to be a source of comfort and protection, not instability and uncertainty. If Drew doesn't find his way back to the man he used to be, he could end up permanently damaging his daughter's ability to trust and love in the future. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear, Drew Quartermain is standing at a crossroads. Will he return to the man who once inspired loyalty and love, or will he continue down this dark path, becoming unrecognizable even to himself? We'll just have to keep watching to find out.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.